Hello everybody, I'm Anthem. Welcome back to Let's Play Hearthstone 4 Kalterkrieg, Germany. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, one thing I haven't noticed, I'm guessing this is when the Russian Civil War broke out. Lithuania annexed all of Belarus. Good for them. I think they deserve it. I've also noticed that we have not paid licenses. Now, I don't know how to actually fix that. Your country is not letting civilian factories for licensed production, Duchy of Kurland. Does that just mean that they're not actually buying stuff? No. Selling, buying. I'm not too sure. We'll just ignore it for now. Maybe someone in the comments will tell me how to fix that another day. But we'll continue on, because again, Russia is now in civil war. We've won our war in China, and Middle Africa collapsed. Like everything, there's ups and there's downs, right? We got China, good. We lost Africa, bad. But I mean, if Russia is going to be in the middle of a civil war, like what could they possibly do against us? Also, is this God Save the King? Is that just the first song that always plays on the radio? Because I think someone else commented, why is the video opening God Save the King? I think it might just be like the default song. I'm not too sure. But I would say I think things are going pretty well for little old Germany. We're going to get a community of independent nations in just a moment. And then we can do some lovely new colonialism. We'll get that going. New African policy. And Tanganyika down here has now joined up with they have defensive ties with us, which puts them onto basically not in the faction, but like, are they guaranteed by us? Is that we're guaranteeing them, and that also is going to apply to Southwest Africa. So I mean, that's good. I mean, it's not as good as full Reichspakt membership, but I mean, I guess it means they don't join any offensive wars, which I mean, I guess could be theoretically useful, but we'll see. I mean, I guess it means that our they're not going to start a war that they're going to call our allies into, which I mean is good actually, because it means our I can't trust the AI to do anything for anything, because it is currently 51. You're 52, but yeah, I mean, so this is going to be for our navy, which I'm honestly not super concerned with. You know, I didn't research any planes in this timeline, because again, we are playing in the alternate timeline. I didn't actually upgrade those planes, which I did previously, because again, I think I mentioned that an update broke the game and I had to kind of replay a bunch of it. Modify government. What would I have you do? I mean, I guess we could get, for 160, carrier hulls. I mean, better fighters. 5% production cost. Honestly, not that bad. For 15% attack, more agility, more range. And I mean, it improves our tactical bombers as well. You know what? Sure. Let's get the Jet Pioneer. It also gives us the research speed bonus. Now, I don't think that retro... Actually, 124 days. I think maybe it does. Does it retroactively apply? It seems like it did, because I think I was like 138 when I first pressed it, but not 100% on that. Okay, we have all of our ciphers. Don't worry about this. For our other research slot, we're just going to go for the other aircraft here. Let's get all of those guys going. I'm feeling pretty... Like, it's really nice being on top of the world, right? When everyone else is worse than you, pretty good. It's pretty good to be on top. What else is going on? The American Union states kind of are just hanging out. I'm sure maybe a war will break out here eventually, but not yet, it seems. And when's our election? Because I know there is the 51 election, which is over here, the 51 Reichstag-Wahl. And we're probably going to go for a DKP victory. They're the ones that are currently in power. And I mean, if we're going to go slightly more authoritarian, we'll probably go DKP. Because I feel like we usually go a little bit more reformist just by default. So, you know, well, let's go a little bit more reactionary this time around. The German election approaches, and there is a heightened interest toward Germany for the first time in years. The ruling DNEF and our allies are vulnerable. While the DKP remains one of the only two major forces in the election, the failure to pass the new state law and the subsequent leadership turnover has allowed the Zentrum to make a credible attempt at chancellorship. While the DKP has stabilized under the right Chancellor Gorlier, who has become a popular figure that conservatives across Germany have rallied behind, it is unclear if he will be able to galvanize and win over enough of the public for his side. The Zentrum has effectively capitalized on the stumbles of DKP, which may be enough to lead him to victory. One thing is certain, is that heading into this election season, no one knows for sure who will emerge the victor. The DNEF and our allies retain significant support despite their missteps. But experts are in agreement that the Zentrum have enough momentum and support to win. Regardless of the outcome, it is certain to be a fierce competition. So once this is finished, we do need to get our way down here. I'm guessing this will auto-complete. Will this auto-complete when the election happens? No. At least not right now. But we'll get our way down there again. We don't want a Zentrum. We want to go for the DKP. I guess this allows us to continue our way down the Stadtplan. So do we want that, or do we want the Staatskapitalist which don't has any, there's no descriptions here, so I don't actually know what they do. Involve minister ideas from the German Empire. So it's going to be resource gain plus 10% and negative 15% consumer goods, which I mean, that does seem pretty good. And other than that, we can go for 10% goods, consumer goods for 10%. I mean, this seems like a lot worse. Just in every conceivable way. And then that leads down to U, which is construction speed for production stage cap penalty. Which then, I mean, we can't even take this because we're not going to be conservative. So I guess we'll go for the Staatskapitalist model. We get the military-industrial complex. I mean, that sounds great. The 1951 elections begin. Campaigns have gone in full swing for the 1951 elections, which see the contest between the currently ruling DKP and the Zentrum LVP coalition as their primary opposition. The current dominant DKP remains led by Dr. Karl Friedrich Gorlier, the popular Reich Chancellor, representing a more traditional conservative agent who has come to lead the party after the failure to pass a new state law. With the party largely behind him, it is expected that the DKP will perform well, though internally they acknowledge some uncertainty due to the leadership changes and public perceptions around the new state law, even if it did ultimately fail to pass. The Zentrum LVP coalition currently is has no undisputed leader, but it is expected that should they succeed, it'll be led by either Josef Rith of the Erzbergen Progressives or Heinrich Börning of the Rhenish Moderates. Two very different paths away Germany, and it's expected to be a fierce election season. Okay, so we got the opposition campaign. That is down here. No, it's here. Campaign federally. Support for the DKP will increase greatly. Do we know who's going to actually win? Zentrum is favored to... Okay, so right now Zentrum is favored to win, which is not great. We want him to lose. But we're going to need a lot of... Oh, God. There's going to be a lot of campaigning we need to do. Significantly campaigning within a state. So I'm guessing this now is where the provincial, not alignment, the provincial ideologies will actually start taking place. Because we want the DKP to win. Which I'm assuming is Christian Democrat, conservative. We are conservative. Yes. Zentrum is the Catholic Center Party. So we want to make sure, we want to run in areas that are currently, I think, blue. We couldn't like campaign in... Berlin's currently voting Social Democrat. I think we want to maybe try to take votes away from the conservatives here. But it's 25 per province. Or per state. Or region. I don't know what you call the regions in Germany. Or we do the bigger campaigns. You know, televised broadcasts of the manifesto. I mean, that seems better. We're getting 1.16 right now. Which is... okay. When is the actual election? 59 days. Okay, actually, we had to be a little bit quick. So let's campaign in Franken for right now. We'll get that going. So the opposition campaign is underway. Do any of you just give me a big bonus of political power? You won't. You'll just modify Middle Africa. And again, they don't actually exist right now, so we don't care about that. What about you? Factories... Go to civilian economy. You don't benefit us. Read our constituency boundaries. I mean, you're a 20% stability boost, which is nice. But then you're a 70-day focus. So I can't really deal with you. I mean, I guess we could... Theoretically, we could just take no focus and just double down on our... and just double down on gaining political power. South Africa has shifted towards the Reichspakt. They now have defensive ties. We'll love to see it. The Volksstaat South Africa has been established. After recent negotiations, the uncertain future of German South Africa has been solved. Today, Stadtholder Hans Josef Graf von Scherben-Lotwitz and a bevy of German officials declared the establishment of the Volksstaat South Africa. Governed by a constitution informed by the principles of the Prussian constitutionalism and drafted by the executive committee of the said West African Landesrat, South Africa has become an independent state ruled by the German settler population under the formal protection of the German Empire. Excellent. There will be blood. Don't worry about that whole all those shenanigans. United Kingdom of Lithuania and Belarus. With the ascension of Ruthenian territories in the Lithuanian control after recent events, the Lithuanian government has coordinated and organized the territory of Belarus into a secondary kingdom after initially cooperating with the local political elements who had formed as the Belarusian Central Council in Minsk. Given ambitions in the region, the legacy of the Commonwealth in Lithuanian political circles, they have decided to declare a personal union between the two kingdoms under King Vatudis. It's unclear whether this will be nothing more than an echo of ancient legacy or start of something anew. Do they have a new flag? Hey, you know what? I like their flag. That's really like half of the battle, right? When you're making a new nation, is how nice is your flag? And I feel like they've done a good job. Also, if our okay, you guys are actually finished. You're not connected by railway, so let's connect you here. You're looking good. You're looking good. So I mean that should mean now, hypothetically speaking, if I were to delete your orders. And shift you into the big army. And then draw your borders over everything. With those new, with these new supply hubs, we should be able to hold that quite nicely. But I still want half of the army onto this border. Yeah, so you have 2 out of 20. You're at 25, but that should alleviate a little bit. Especially when we get this railroad actually finished. Should supply these troops as well. We want that on top priority. That'll be done on the 9th of March, so like a week. So for now, the troops can starve just a little bit. They can have a little bit of starvation as a lovely treat. Okay, more support for us. And a new African policy. Yeah, I think we're not going to take any focuses. I think we need to focus on trying to get our big elections here. The new African policy. Despite our best efforts, Middle Africa, the crown jewel of the German Empire, is no more. All that remains is a squabbling collection of tribes, kingdoms, and pseudo-republics. Almost all of them hostile towards us. Not all is lost, though. A few of our oldest colonies still remain loyal to the Kaiser und Winterland. A majority of the government are calling for us to aid these friendly regimes. Most contain large populations of German settlers, and aiding them would allow us to continue exerting influence on the continent. A few suggested that we direct our efforts at sabotaging Accordist interests that have started to take root. This would be relatively easy to accomplish, as the post-Middle Africa order appears to be just as hostile to the Accord as they are to us. A small minority here have said that we should cut our losses and abandon Africa to the fates. This proposal is obviously the least popular of the three that have been presented. Aid friendly regimes. Let's... I mean, I want to support our allies in the region. You know, our two puppet states here. But I also want to make sure the Entente... I'm going to keep them the Entente. We're just completely ignoring the Accordist name for now. I think getting their interest... Like, if we can maybe... Because, I mean, they have a much bigger area in Africa. So I think we try to thwart them getting even more influence on the continent. I think that makes sense. 48 days. Why do we... I guess we want to... Will we even have enough time? Because this happens in 15 days. Tanzania has joined closer towards the Reichspakt. Hey, they've actually just joined up into the Reichspakt. Excellent news. And I'm sure South Africa will probably follow suit. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. Campaign federally for 14 days. And then we should be able to rig ballots. That'll only take 10 days. Maybe if we're lucky, we can do ballot rigging and campaign federally. That sounds nice. Accord exercise in the North Sea. News from Ottawa. The Accord is in the North Sea. Just a few minutes ago, the Canadian government announced its intention, along with its allies, to commit a naval exercise in the North Sea. The press release states, "Our goal in this operation is to assess the readiness and capacity of our alliance on the sea. The location is of no threat to the German people, and the exercises are of a defensive measure. A naval action is close to our shores is meant to be a sign of our strength at our expense, despite the innocence claimed by the Canadians. For the Germans to her fleet to challenge the exercise seems likely, or to bring the two alliances to the brink of war. A risk many on both sides don't seem worth taking. Several neutral countries watching the situation have called for de-escalation of tensions and for the Germans to allow the naval exercises unopposed. They claim the use of the North Sea should be open to the Accord as per international waters, despite Germany's protest of it being used to be restricted to German Navy and civilian vessels. No official response from the German government has been released as it scrambles to decide how best to react to the situation. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Iceland is in the Accord. UK is in the Accord. Norway is in the Accord. Like, we own, like, Denmark is allied with us, but most of the North Sea is really dominated by Accordist nations. Actually, no, Norway's no longer in the Accord. They have political ties, but they're not actually a member state. I think, I don't know if this might not actually do anything, but we won't oppose them right now. I don't think that really seems worthwhile. Increases greatly, increases significantly. We back down in North Sea. Official word from the Germans surrounding the North Sea crisis is that they've decided to respect the Accord's use of the North Sea. Germans claim they have allowed the operation as a sign of goodwill and to allow further cooperation. Canadian Prime Minister looked rather pleased in today's interview and announced triumphantly to the press, today is a great victory for the Canadian people, the British Empire, the Accord, but most importantly, an even greater victory for peace. The CBC has announced with the end of the exercise, with the end of the crisis, it will continue its week-long coverage of the exercise with the end of the week special going in depth regarding the behind the scenes of the Accord and the German government when it came to the North Sea crisis. So is that just, did I just give them like 25 points? Yes. So I mean, we're giving them more interest to them, but I honestly think it's fine. I don't think it's worth shooting at the Canadians for that. We're definitely not going to get up to 100, right? We need to get to, we need 64, we need 66, and we're getting a little bit more than 2, so let's say 30 days. Yeah, we don't have enough time. So we got to rig ballot boxes, and I think with the campaign federally, I think that's about all the time we have. So rig ballot boxes immediately. That's also going to cost us 0.5. Can we get up to 35 in that short amount of time? I don't think so, but I mean, it's looking close. There's been a new election. France, have you just like, is that like your 4th election since the start of this campaign? It sure feels like it. It feels like you've had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, we're at 9:35, and this takes 14 days. I mean, it'll be close. 7 days. I mean, we can at least do one campaign. And I guess we'll campaign in southern Bavaria. Because again, will this get enough points for 14 days to matter? Because right now, Zentrum is still looking like they're going to win. Ireland has deployed the army to Northern Ireland. I mean, if they... Ireland, you're aligned with us, right? Yes. So almost certainly the Entente, or the Accord, are doing some shenanigans in Northern Ireland, which is very rude, by the way. I don't know why you would do that. Let's give our modern tanks a little bit of speed boost. 14, 27. So 2.16. And we need to get that done in 5 days. So I think we'll barely have enough to campaign federally. But, crisis in the Bulgarian lev. The National Bank of Bulgaria today warned that the government would be facing stark prospects due to the increasing weakness of the lev. The finance minister stated that the government intended to reduce the supply of money in the economy. However, he warned that this would take time to take full effect. People in Bulgaria are already on the streets protesting the government's inability to resolve the crisis, and it is in part caused by the crippling payments required by the Treaty of Dejani. The chant that we want bread is a common rally cry in the masses, and the nation is on the brink of... it's dancing on the edge of the precipice. Okay, I can read. I know words. So tomorrow, we should have our 35 points. So we're going to be like 1 day ahead, which is very close. No, okay, I was going to say maybe we can get 25 with 7 days left, but I definitely don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. So now we should be able to take another focus. Maybe I should have embraced voting reform a little bit earlier. Maybe I fucked myself over, but that's fine. Demobilize. I don't think we need to demobilize right now. I'm still going to wait to see if Danubia will join Middle Europa. So let's go for the Munich conference next. We're going to get that done in 10 days. So I think Zentrum is just going to win. I don't think there's any dice roll in this. I think it's just going to happen. which is a big shame. I would love to have more support for the revolutionary conservative ideology, but definitely Zentrum, I think, is going to win. Does this rename some ruling party? I mean, the authoritarian Democrats are going to join the coalition, which apparently is still the DKP. So I'm not too sure exactly how that's going to work. Okay, so I honestly don't think there's anything I could have done to win this election. Genuinely, I don't think there was anything we could have done. The new Reichschancellor. With the electoral victory of the Zentrum, the leadership contest between the major factions of Zentrum comes to a head. Only one become the Reichschancellor, and the two largest factions have placed forward their candidates who enjoy wide support from their respective factions. The first candidate is Heinrich Biernig of the Moderate Caucus within the Zentrum, representing Christian Democrats who have often been mediated between the trade unionists and the Prussian Federalists within the party. The second candidate is Josef Rith, representing the Progressive Caucus and successor of Matthias Erzberger. The Progressives are known for their close alliance with the LVP, along with their opposition to interdominationalism. Another, though a much smaller faction, is Franz von Pappen's Prussian coalition, who's primarily established themselves as oppositional obstructionists to the coalition, who are unlikely to do more than disrupt the proceedings. After a period of heated deliberations, the new Reichschancellor was decided. We will definitely go with the Unionist. We are now social conservative. Okay, so the DKP got renamed. We're now the Zentrum, the right wing here. We are now just Christian Democrats. And that means that you will... Let me just... I can scroll over a little bit more. Yeah, you've already been automatically been completed. Has Ludwig Erhard active. I do not know who that is, so I can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. What about you? Salic law has been repealed. Expand the Reichsruhbahn. Can go with you as well. Subsidize key industries. Deal with wartime debt. Why do I need to deal with war? What's the penalty right now for wartime debt? Legacy of the fleet. I don't know. There might not actually be any penalties. But with the end of the elections here, I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed it, thumbs up. Not enjoyed, click some down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.